Welcome to this episode of the Prestige-ish Media Podcast. With me is my co-host who knows how to operate in storms because fairies operate in storms all the time. Dan McNair on take 2 of this podcast. Dan, welcome to the show again.
Thanks. It feels like I've been here for 15 minutes already.
And you love talking about this show. So we'll save our audience some of the bereavement of our initial discussion. But we are talking about Widow's Bay, season 1, episode 9. The episode is Emergency Shelter. Dan, you said you've got this at a 5.5? Is that how you rated this?
I'm going to give it a 5.5. Gimme Shelter.
I've got this as a 7.5. I mentioned how this is it had the real feel of a penultimate episode. I think it was setting up for the next one. We did get some story reveals, but this was not action, maybe as many big reveals as we got last episode. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would say where a lot of the season so far has danced around and explored different storylines in different parts of the town, this one seemed to move downhill towards the end.
So let's approach this a different way since we've talked about this once around already. The crux of this episode is there is a living descendant. Various people had called that there was the little girl in the painting. And so we get the flashback scene. So we find out this has come to pass, but she is like an adopted child of a rich man in town who makes her into this child bride at 15. And she has descendants. And we get this rundown of Rosemary, who I think has been pretty entertaining this episode at least. And we get the rundown of all the genealogy of dead baby, lesbian, all retards. What did you make of where we ended? That it seems like Ruth, she's the one that works in the office with Tom and drives him crazy, right? She's got
to be home by 3 and all of that stuff.
So she's the one that we think is the only living descendant. Now, I don't buy this.
Until Theory Corner, right? Yeah.
But do you buy it, and what do you make of it?
Without giving away my theory, which we probably both have the same one, no, I don't think she's the end of the genealogical line.
Okay, so do we think they kill her in the finale only to find out that she's not the end, and that leads into the next season? That to me seems like the best way to play another season of television.
I think Tom's about to kill her and she shares her deep, dark secret.
Okay, that's interesting.
And also while I was doing that, you just reminded me a note. I've talked to my kids about drugs, the birds and the bees, but I have not talked to them about illegal whaling. So Make sure that you talk to your kids about illegal whaling. You don't want them to grow up a pirate.
Was that the summary from Wick? Is his dad and grandfather, they said they owned the island when they lived
off the whale blubber.
Story of your early 20s.
So, there may be ex-girlfriends listening.
So yeah, I did think it was funny. One of the girls' names was Ungrateful Hortense. That seemed to be intentional.
Is that your 20s dating?
That probably, certainly. 20s, 30s, does it ever end? But it seems like Patricia's trying to be the voice of reason or the sane person here. But we get Wick talking about, let's shoot her in the back of the head. It's quick, it's easy. It seems Tom's stance is she's had a good run. Any thoughts there?
I'm waiting for your donkey punch joke. Insert that here. I get both sides of the argument, but I would probably lean towards Patricia in all of it. His son is the motivation for what drives him to try and make this a successful town, and also a lot of the safety precautions that are in place. So he's a one-trick pony when it comes to that, and I think that's what will wind up playing into the next episode.
So we'll back into a little bit of it, but we end up with that scene at the lighthouse between Garrett and I thought that was one of the more humorous parts of the episode. You were kind of just wrapping up your take when we realized that we hadn't recorded. Did you kind of want to wrap that up at all?
The reason it was really funny for me is because I think we've all worked with doofuses in the past that we could identify, and sometimes they actually do minimally the right thing. And as somebody that might be like a leader like Tom, that's always trying to overcorrect and make sure that all the communication has happened and all the precautions have been taken, and you still wind up on the wrong side of things. I was feeling for Tom, and that's why I thought this was funny and it worked.
When the real, I guess, race against time here was they only have 30 minutes of generator, and he has like a spark plug they need that if he doesn't get it in the next 30 minutes, the power is going to go out in that whole shelter. Is that the premise there?
Yes, yeah, that wraps it up nicely.
Now, what did you make of the guy that got sucked off in the tornado, or what was going on there?
He must have really needed those socks.
Yeah, maybe that's what's hidden in the basement, but that Tom doesn't want his son to see. Yeah, did we know who that guy was?
I don't think so. For a brief moment, I thought it was like the Boyle guy, but no, he's inside town hall. So I think he's just a red shirt.
Yeah, we did get introduced to the restaurant owner at the beginning of the episode. I don't know if it's that guy. I don't think it was like the inn owner or whatever, but yeah, just a weird thing there. But I guess because of that, Tom sees this as extra nefarious. It didn't look super discriminant to me. It looked like an indiscriminate tornado, but it seems like he believes it's more selective or evil. Did you absorb that? Or like, I don't think they showed it, but I feel like that was Tom's reaction that we got.
Yeah, I guess the weird thing to me is Tom himself didn't feel targeted. If just something random like that happens to you on the street, I'm running away from it. And he pauses and looks up and then does a little scramble inside, but it doesn't seem like he's as desperate to get away from it.
I think he felt bad. I felt like he was caught between trying to help this person, which he felt he should do, and not helping them because he felt it was dangerous. So I guess that kind of checks out with his history of chicken shittery with not ringing the doorbell or similar half measures. We talked a little bit about the sheriff. It looks like his wife's going to go into labor when we get into the shelter. She's definitely having the kid there, right?
Yeah, those are not Braxton Hicks.
We talked a little bit about the 400 years of ancestry to entangle as they find this Francis Fisher missing finger painting. So that's just something else that's out there. Do you want to get into Theory Corner? Any other comments you wanted to make sure you hit on this episode?
I guess we didn't cover in this take. I did appreciate some of the comedic painting stuff with Tom and Patricia as he's eventually coming to realize that he has to sound the siren. But him being pinned under the frame, like that actually worked for me. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, and I had mentioned in our pre-fake episode we recorded like Patricia shutting that door on that old man, like telling the story of the 1783 storms. And I was taking notes. I wasn't sure if we were going to get more storms. There was some kind of intro with who we believe was to be Mitch, telling them about the Doppler and losing connection to land. And they connect to him like right at the end of the episode, but we can't really tell what he's saying is happening, but it seems like there's a big hubbubaloo going down. Is that what you kind of took as the ending there?
Yeah, I don't know what that could be. I've never been in a nor'easter, so maybe they get like flying pirate ships or something like that.
Yeah, the Flying Dutchman, maybe. So, yeah, sorry to our listeners that we're on our second run here, and this is a short episode anyway. We've got one more finale next week, and then we jump right into our coverage of House of the Dragon, Hot D. So, that is coming. How is your rewatch continuing for you on that show, Dan?
Just finished season one last night. And I'm appreciating it so much more this time through, I think. I'll be curious how season two plays out. It could be that much of a negative feeling, but season one, actually, every episode delivers something.
Yeah, I really feel season one's underrated. I have not done a season two rewatch, so I'd have to see how that feels. But when we covered the show, I did my season one rewatch with a note take last time, and I really felt season one was strong. But yeah, season two, and I feel like season two has good episodes. I feel like it has in my head 4 strong episodes, maybe 5 you could string together if you piecemeal them, but it just goes out such a lamb. And then between that and all the Damon dream sequences, I don't imagine those will be any better for you second pass through, certainly.
I might just try and sleep through them.
Yeah, fair enough. So, yeah, we will be back next week with our finale, and then shortly after that with House of the Dragon. Go ahead.
Can I stick the landing on Theory Corner?
Yeah, go for it. What do you got here?
It's seeming obvious, but I would think that Ruth would be of an age to secretly have a daughter around the age of Tom's wife. So that could make your theory come back into play.
Yeah, I think Evan's going to end up being, and I could see a lot of things happening. Ruth just has some sort of shock over the storm and she's about to die. Death put bed to confession, so they don't have to kill her. But now, if they were going to kill someone, it's now Tom's son, as an example. But yeah, it'll be curious to see. I think, was old Ruth, is that what her name is? Old Ruth Livingston,
Yeah.
ungrateful Hortense in her day? We don't know.
She, wait, was she Miss Widow's Bay 56? So maybe she's even too old.
I don't think so, because that would be like 76 and he's got to be mid 40s. It's probably pretty close.
Okay. Okay. I'm like, she would have been a teenager in 56.
Yeah, I'm just saying he's got to be minimum. He's older than me, I would hope, by 5 years.
Yeah.
Minimum. Oh, yeah, I think it's in
If
the
you're marrying
ballpark.
14-year-olds and
Who's to say the rules of Widow's Bay back then?
the whale blubber warlords might have still been going strong back in this day.
Yeah, the whale bubble warlords and their whale lubricants. Yeah, so we'll see, but I'm enjoying this show for what it is. I don't There are some very high reviews of this show out there. It's like I don't know that it's the best show on television or certainly the best show of the year, but I think it's an easy watch. It's obviously doing one episode at a time. Second week in a row for that. Was that any better of an experience for you?
Yeah, and it didn't feel like in this episode I had to sort out so many other things and try and tie loose connections and just wonder what might be going on in a bigger scheme of things. I didn't feel like because the boogeyman or the candy man or the Candyland died, that's why the storm came or anything like this. A lot of times I've been wondering about the cause effect of the show betwixt all the different baddies of the week. But here I felt like it was just more of a self-contained episode that made sense.
Yeah, in our pre-episode conversation, we kind of mentioned the fog. There was a quote earlier in the season, the fog is a haunt. So I kind of posited that is the possible driver from all these baddies of the week, as you call them. And the only other thing that we covered was last episode, we didn't really talk about Tom has some big secret in the basement. So we don't
Yeah, and do you have any thoughts about that? I kind of litigated it, but
we know Richard Warden couldn't die and the boogeyman couldn't die, so it'd be a really weird turn. But is the mom still alive in the basement somewhere or something really weird? I wouldn't rule it out in this show based on what we've got so far.
it could be she's delusional in the basement, but I don't know if that matches the Tom character for me. But heck, if he's got a secret in there, who knows? He's not Mr. Innocent.
Colonel Mustard with the guy in the tornado socks in the basement. That's what I'm putting on the board.
Good clue read.
Cool. As is unusual for us, a short one this week. Sorry about that, ladies, but we will be back next week for more. So please continue to join us.
Snapstrom.
Pew pew. Retard, retard. Lesbian retard.
Don't say that.
What dead baby? That did like it went on for so long that it finally circled its way to funny for me.
Yeah, yeah. It almost beat you down to the point where you just had to laugh or cry.